Majo, John, Madden, Juanito, in the front yard of my tiny little house in Acapulco with the companionship of a dog I'm learning to call Spot. I decided to call him Spot, her, and she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. She mostly has not allowed me to pet her. Some of the other dogs have. The six who now comprise the Majo Soup Kitchen here and Doggy Clubhouse. No, has not wanted me to pet her, but she likes my company. Yesterday it was bookends, early and late in the day. She sat laid for a long time right in the hearth, and her company was so gorgeous, and it's very timely right now. You will notice that I'm not in the sound studio. The lighting is not great. I'm sitting in the shade. The sun just now went behind that wall, so I don't have to wear a hat, and the sun isn't in my eyes. And we're going to put up with that sound because it's an important part of this story. I've been shooting videos all day because I've been overwhelmed with love and oneness and just trying to document it one way or another. And the last video I did about an hour ago, I ended by saying, wow, I'm wiped out from this day. I am going to lay down and take a little nap. And in the 5 minutes between completing that video and when I went to lay down, this tool started. It's not a jackhammer, but it's some kind of power tool that in the house is outrageous. It's right behind us, and in the house it's totally impossible. So there went my notion for a nap. I have a whole suitcase full of tools for stress release. I did my doctoral dissertation on it, and I've taught thousands of people how to release stress. So I did my yawning and stretching and my shaking and released a lot of physical trauma and said, okay, now let's get out of here. We got to get out of here. Early in the COVID, when I started my 4 years on the road out in the country, I loved the sound of mountain streams and crickets. And I would go, but why do you have to run that weed eater or start your motorcycle? And what I got was the spiritual perspective was to not resist any sound and to not judge anything you see. And that really has worked for me all along. Now, I couldn't get beyond judging that sound was impossible to nap by, and I had to leave the house. But while I was doing that release of stress, I thought about a podcast I heard yesterday, a wonderful, wise, deep woman named Kelly Corrigan, who I had heard a podcast by her a week or two ago about brave conversations that I was right behind everything she said. Perfect. You need to not try to mess with the person you're listening to. Listen. And I had a conversation. Interviewed a young artist here in Acapulco right after having heard that podcast, and I realized how it had influenced me because in the 13-minute interview, I said, well, oh, this is perfect. Listen to this song. Helado, helado, the ice cream truck. My favorite sound in Acapulco. She's up there now. It's a girl sound, but a guy pushes the bicycle. It's a song that everybody in this pueblo knows, and everybody sings along with it or taps along with it. It's a totally sweet sound, and the ice cream is spectacular. That sound was happening right down here when I came out. I said, "Oh, we're going to use that for the blessings." So I heard a short podcast with another National Public Radio podcast with Mary Louise Kelly, I think yesterday, in which Kelly Corrigan again was talking about her mother's death and why this last year has been so hard for her. And along the way, she said, there are some things that just suck. There is such a thing as bad things. She didn't use that term, but basically she was saying that. And I totally disagree with that. I do not think there are bad things. My spirituality is two poles. One is everything is connected, and life is intelligent. Life is always sending us exactly the experiences we are needing to have. We may never know why. We may never understand why it was there, but it was for our growth. And if I have to flee the apartment because it's too noisy, well, I'm obviously meant to come back out into this gorgeous, gorgeous day. Maybe I'll have a wonderful encounter with someone. Maybe I'll record a great video, or maybe I'll just be happy in this beautiful day. Maybe I'll go take a swim in the Caribbean. I don't know. I don't know what. I try not to overplan. I won't know until I get down the road. But I know that I wanted to make this video because, to me, the big divide among humans is people who have a spiritual perspective and don't. People who trust. People who believe that there is a divine hand, a higher power, a force, a matrix, life, whatever you call it, and trust and put their hands, put their faith in the hands of God. And I do that, and it has transformed my life. So I disagree with you, Kelly Corrigan. You may never know what was the silver lining. And I absolutely agree with you that it's wrong for somebody to say, look for the silver lining when you're still in pain. No, you help that person mourn. You help them grieve. You help them release the trauma. There's a sappy song, look for the silver lining. That's sap and bullshit. I much prefer the Monty Python dark take on that song where Christ is being crucified and the other crooks up on the crosses are singing, always look at the bright side of life, to expose how oppressive and terrible that notion is, that you're supposed to feel happy when you don't. No. I have a dear friend in Playa. Her divorce was devastating to her, and her friends and family mostly said, you're taking it too hard. You need to get over it. When she wasn't over it. She wasn't over it. They didn't give her space to grieve, to mourn, to hurt from it, to have pain. So when I came out of the house, Spot came along, and Spot and I love to hang out. I'll sit there in the doorway, and Spot will sit 10 feet away from me, like this, lay down. And I said, Spot, we can't do it today. I'm sorry. That noise is driving me crazy. We got to go. And I said, when was the last time you heard that sound? I think it stopped. So I came out here, and it had stopped, and it was very peaceful. And then it started up again. Well, God has a sense of humor. God will tweak us and say, well, you didn't understand what you thought you understood there. So I still have to go. But I still had peaceful moments with Spot, who doesn't seem to mind the sound at all, as far as I can tell. And it's nowhere near as devastating out here as it was in the house, but I am going to leave. But I got a good video out of it, I think. You can decide whether for you it makes any sense. Kelly, I'm going to send it to you. Maybe we'll end up having a conversation about this. Maybe your spirituality, maybe you are deeply spiritual and you do believe in the higher power. I just haven't heard it in that short podcast yesterday. And I'm going to go now. I really don't like that sound. And there's a whole beautiful pueblo waiting for me, and lots of places in this pueblo where I can't hear that sound. And maybe I'll catch up with the ice cream truck. I've got a little money in my pocket if I remember to bring my money. All right.